My name's Kate Luxmore. I'm a clarinetist and composer, and I have put together something called the Birmingham Art Ensemble through a registered charity that I run with Lekon Babalola, which is called the Ifa Yoruba Contemporary Arts Trust. We're based in Birmingham, and the reason that we created the project that you see here is partly out of a conversation that I had with my daughter. She goes to school locally in Handsworth, and her and her friends were discussing the fact that they weren't going to take history as a subject because many of them are from African descent and Afro-Caribbean, and they didn't feel that they were learning anything about their history. And so I began to look at ways of perhaps being able to create an educational resource looking at the slave trade and the history of the trade, the general trade with Africa, and the effect it had on Birmingham, and why we all find ourselves here in this city together. So the piece we're creating is a look at England and Africa to start with in the 1600s, and it begins with the creation of the West African Company, and then we chart the journey of the trade. But we're looking at it from an angle of power, because there's a fantastic quote by the major industrialist in Birmingham who lived in the north of Birmingham, called Matthew Bolton, and he said, "I sell here, sir, what the whole world desires to have, power." And it really helped us kind of think about the whole journey and the story, but from a perspective of the fact that it is power that has been created and has changed and formed the place that we live in now, and effectively dispersed us all over the world as well. So out of that came a project, and we've been working with within local schools and with local community groups of young people, looking at the subject matter and getting some of their input into the piece that we've been creating. So Birmingham Art Ensemble features artists from predominantly from North Birmingham. They reflect the cultural diversity of the area, and also work across the arts. So there's musicians and a dancer and a spoken word poet, but also obviously we work with a team of sound engineer and lighting and filmmaker.
My name is Lekon Babalola. People call me Lekon Babalola. I'm the creative director of Ifa Yoruba Contemporary Arts Trust. The aim of the organization is to foster the development of African art from Africa into the African diaspora, Europe, Americas, and the rest of the world. The project's idea is to look at the journey of African people and also European people coming to Africa to do trade, and how that trade has come to Europe and also go to Caribbean, the Americas, and to actually look at the present day Birmingham, how it is very multicultural because Birmingham is home to 52 nations, and to look at the connection through the arts of people trading with one another, doing an exchange, and that exchange has now taken place in the present day of Birmingham. People from Pakistan, people from Africa, people from Caribbean, people from England, people from Persia, anywhere in the world, how one interrelated.
The project works across the art forms, and the idea is that as a group we can input. So musicians can bring pieces that relate to the theme. We can develop the visuals together, and the dance and the poetry. So we're all inputting in many ways as composers, or Nathan is choreographing, and it's to work across the arts, and it's to work across cultures as well, and try and find a language really, and a piece that will evolve and hopefully go out further than Birmingham, perhaps across the UK, as well as creating a resource for educational purposes alongside it. So we chart the journey, and we chart it through music and spoken word and dance. And we arrive in Birmingham now, and we were working with a young musician who's a grime artist who created the last piece of music we put into the set. So we're really spanning a lot of history and a lot of music, but it's been an interesting process.